So, with absolute power going strong in the DC universe, and since I'm also, speaking of DC, reading the next volume of Philip Kennedy Johnson's Action Comics trade, which the next trade is coming out in a few weeks, I really hope Chris sends me the next volume, because, damn, I am like 3 chapters in on this Philip Kennedy Johnson Action Comics run, and yeah, this whole Rise of Metallo storyline has been great. Expect a review in the near future. Anyway, so, this kind of got me thinking about a few things. Between Absolute Power and reading this Action Comics storyline, kind of got me thinking about one thing that's been on my mind as of late. Why in comics, and you see this a lot, you really do see this a lot, where, why in comic books, does everyone think, like every normal human being think, oh yeah, we don't need superheroes. We don't need, we need to, like, register them, or get rid of them, or just be, like, humans first. And you see that a lot, and I know that's kind of the focal point of Absolute Power, and this whole Blue Earth movement going on in, the Action Comics line, or it did until his run, Philip Kennedy Johnson's run ended. But every time I hear these things, I'm like, and this has been not to play, like, and I do want to read Absolute Power when it comes in trade, but, like, the one thing that always bothered me, and this goes back to, like, Waller, when she was incepted, or, like, with Marvel characters, like, all the way back at the beginning of Marvel and DC books, and even, like, some independent books. My whole thing is, why do you want to get rid of them so bad? Like, what makes you think either registering or getting rid of superheroes is a good idea, and only depending on human first kind of movement? Now, Waller, her whole thing is that, like, yeah, currently in Absolute Power, I can, like, have the U.S. government and have, like, supervillains and robot tech at my disposal to fight whatever threats there are and just get rid of superheroes. Cool. So cool. What do you think Darkseid's gonna think of that? Can your robots fight Darkseid? I know they are Amazos, but, like, Darkseid is, bitch. Can your robots fight the Anti-Monitor? Can the U.S. military... actual question. Do you really think, like, if, say, we got rid of, like, either in the Marvel or DC universe, they got rid of all the superheroes, or, like, registered them, or something like that, do you really think, like, let's go to the Marvel side, do you really think for one hot second that, like, if, like, registration worked, do you really think, like, registration is going to matter to someone like Doctor Doom, who is just going to be like, well, now you've tied up in litigation, I can now just annex these Symkaria, and maybe I'll take Poland and Bulgaria, and I know it just follow along. Like, I'll just take whatever, and they're so tied up in litigation that I can just, like, do whatever. Yeah, and do you really think, like, if the Marvel Universe, like, oh yeah, we got rid of all the muties, like, all them muties are gone, and now, wait. Why are the Sentinels turning on, normal people? Oh dear, I have made a mistake. I want some people, and I know this has probably been out in some comic storyline, where someone, like, has that wake-up moment, where it's like, oh god, if we got rid of all the mutants, literally Orchis, or whoever's building Sentinels at the time, is going to turn them on another marginalized group for profit. Oh shit, I didn't think of that. Like, that's something I don't think, like, a lot of people realize. Like, if they're, like, let's say they got, like, all the mutants were killed, like, Orchis was victorious and killed all the mutants. Let's who do you think they're going to turn on next? The superheroes? And then if they killed all the superheroes, or enslaved or marginalized them, who do you think they're going to come after next? There's always, here's the thing about the world, there's always some hateful bastard who will always go after somebody because they're different. Yeah. I hate to tell you, X-Men's been woke, but I hope you had known this by now. So yeah, that's the thing, is that, and here's another thing. If you got rid of all the superheroes, like, let's say Marvel, like, some event wiped out the Marvel superheroes, who's going to take care of the villains? I mean, yeah, the U.S. military, and maybe, like, with the tech that the U.S. military and S.H.I.E.L.D. has, they could probably defeat some villains.
But, like, what are you going to do against the Juggernaut? And, well, Juggernaut's kind of a good guy now. But, like, what are you going to do against Abomination? What are you going to do against Kang? You know, the time traveler. You know, what are you going to do if Kang shows up and you'd be like, well, we're the U.S. military, and why are all our soldiers suddenly turning into children and evaporating into nothing? Oh, shit. Or, I don't know, Thanos. Like, what are you going to do? Like, do you really think the U.S. military and the United Nations militaries are pretty good? They ain't Thanos killing good. So, and again, like you could say, oh, well, S.H.I.E.L.D. could come up with something, or they could use the Ultimate Nullifier, or something like that. Here's the problem. The Ultimate Nullifier's with Galactus. And what if he just shows up now? Like, there's no Reed Richards. There's no Fantastic. There's no one to stop me. Fuck you, Earth. Yeah, I never got that. Like, do you... like, again, registration, getting rid of all the heroes. Did anyone, like, stop and think, is that gonna apply to the supervillains? Like, the whole... And I'm sure, again, I haven't read all of the Action Comic runs so far with this Blue Earth movement. But, like, do you really think, like, did anyone stop and go, hey, you think that Blue Earth movement thing we're doing, like, if we get rid of all of Superman, what's gonna happen to all the villains that he's been fighting? Oh, no. That's what always bothered me about these comics. Whenever you try to, like, inject realism, or inject that kind of train of thought of having the government or some radical movement to get rid of all the superpowered beings, you may apply to why is it the superheroes, but you always forget the villains? That's the thing that always they always focus their anger on the superheroes, never the supervillains. It's always that, like, I don't get that. Like, yes, and I'm not stupid. There should be, like, I do think that, like, in theory, registration could actually work. And Iron Man, and it's just that Mark Miller is a horrible writer, so that Civil War turned out to be the shit fest that it did. So, you know, what can you do? So, but in theory, registration and government oversight on superhero groups is a good thing, but trying to get rid of them outright or tie them up in litigation or trying to get their like the one up on them just because just because they want to do the right thing is kind of bullshit. Because I'll tell you one thing, the bad guys aren't going to care. They're not. They are not going to care in any way, shape, or form. And I just want to have a comic. I would do this for free for Marvel or DC. If any Marvel and DC writers out here, I will write this comic of just doing a story where one day all the Marvel superheroes or DC superheroes are gone. All that's left is the villains. And you could, and I might do this as a whole story, but like, it's this some cosmic being took away them all and left the every supervillain behind, and now mankind has to like fend for themselves in order to fight them. And then it's like the cosmic being comes down and is like, nah, see? You couldn't do it. Do you really hate your You hate it. Like, I want to have that moment. It's like, the only reason you hate them so much is because you aren't them. It comes back down to, and I can't believe I'm using this fucking movie as an excuse. For this quote, they hate us because they ain't us. That really what it feels like it chalks down to in a lot of comics, but no one wants to say that out loud. Anyway, so what do you guys feel about all this? Do you guys agree with me? Not? I'm curious, because like every time I read one of these kind of stories, I always have that thought of, okay, what are you going to do in Darkseid, or Thanos, or, you know, the Beyonder, or fucking, I don't know, the next god-level threat or multiverse-level threat shows up and there's no one that can fight him. You got a robot suit for that, or you think you're just going to drop enough nukes on it to think if it'll work? Anyway, so that's just my kind of thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.